Welcome, everyone, to a very special Mizpah's Becoming a Father series. The Breeze is taking over. And for the first time, the Boiling Point podcast producer, The Breeze, comes on camera. She's always behind the camera giving us facts and stuff, or at least she did that for a long time until the baby was born.
Yes.
Which, of course, led to Mizpah's Becoming a Father series anyway. So you pretty much have your hand in a little bit of everything the Boiling Point podcast is doing. So
A little bit, yeah.
yeah, a little bit. So and now you're on camera for the first time. Big episode. Very exciting for that. And you do have fans. Your people are going to be very excited that you're appearing on camera. We've had people message us and comment, "Hey, is the Breeze? Are we ever going to see the Breeze?" And I always have to tell them, "Listen, she's like an off camera personality. I don't know." I was like, maybe keep watching the series. Maybe you'll get to see her. So now I get to, now when I say other things, people will be like, oh, maybe he knows what he's talking about.
Right.
So welcome to the series. Welcome on camera for the first time.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. I'm glad we've been doing this long enough that you're finally come on. So let's talk about what it's like to be a new mother first before we get into any of the newer stuff. We've been talking to Mizpah this whole time, but we haven't gotten to hear from you. So what is it like being a new mother? And then talk about the changes and what, as Mizpah's talked about, the milestones and stuff.
Right. So it's a roller coaster. It's amazing, but it is the wildest ride I've ever been on. Watching her grow and just seeing how much she's changed since birth has been incredible. Seeing, like you said, all the big milestones with her first words and her like really recognizing people and reaching for people and pointing at things and now talking, and even in her own little language she has like a full conversation with us, like Ms. Pod said. But we just kind of play along, and I'm like, oh really? Oh,
yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I've done the same thing with my nephew when he was younger too. I went and visited him in the hospital, and the first time I went to see him, we talked for probably an hour, just back and forth. I had no idea what he was saying.
Yep.
He was just doing baby talk, but yeah, we went back and forth for, must have been an hour, just talked back and forth, and then he took a nap.
Yep. Yep. And sometimes she'll just laugh at me because she's probably thinking, Mom, you have no idea what I just said to you. And,
yeah.
Her own little inside joke.
Yep. I'm absolutely sure. I mean, we've all seen Look Who's Talking.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. We know that stuff happens.
It does. Yeah.
Or they're laughing at themselves because they made their own joke and they think it's funny.
Oh, she does that all the time too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That cracks me up.
Yeah.
Her latest that really made me laugh, but I really had to try hard not to laugh because it was in a situation where I was trying to get her to sleep and she was just fighting sleep like crazy. And so she's sitting there, she's talking and like humming to herself. And then all of a sudden she just breaks out and goes, baby, baby, like eyes squinted shut like that and everything. I mean, I had to hold in the laugh. It was so hard.
Oh man, that is hilarious.
Yeah, so that's her new thing now, and I encourage it now because it just makes me laugh. So I'll go up to her and I'll say, "You gonna sing?" I'll go, "Baby, baby," and she starts singing.
That's great. That's great. We'll have to try and get her to do that next time she's over.
Yes.
Yeah, because last time you guys had her over, she's walking just about, or at least taking some steps.
Yeah. Yeah, she can do it. She just, like Ms. Pod said, she can get where she's going faster by crawling. So I don't think she has the patience to walk to where she wants to go right now. And like you said, once she starts to run, I think that's going to be it. She's just going to run everywhere. So
yeah. As soon as she figures out that she can get faster on her feet than crawling.
Yeah.
I think that's when she'll start being on her feet more, walking. It won't be walking, but she'll be one of those runners before she's walkers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you guys just all got over COVID. How was that being sick and taking care of little Sammy while you were sick? Also, how talk about how hard that is, because it's not the first time. I mean, you both have had the cold, the cold before, and she's
Right.
had the cold
Right. We
a
both had the
couple of
stomach
times.
bug, and yeah, that was rough. Being mom, because when babies are sick, dad's great, but they want mom.
Yeah,
So, it was just a constant. And then I was so scared because she had the cough part of COVID. She did get a cough with it. Now, it wasn't nothing real severe.
yeah, but
Um,
still,
but still it was scary. Yeah, like I was afraid for her, like Nick said, more than myself. I was afraid for her.
yeah,
Um, so there were many nights where I sat in the rocking chair and just held her, and we both slept in the chair. Um, well, she slept more than I did. I kind
yeah,
of
I'm sure.
kept
Yeah,
one ear and eye open just to make sure, she was
yeah.
okay. And
You got micro sleep of like 5-minute bursts. You're
yep,
like, okay, I'm sleeping. No, I'm not sleeping. I mean, is she okay? Yeah, okay, she's okay. And then
yep,
and then you're sitting there for another 45 minutes, and then you're like, and then you drift off for another minute. And you're like, nope, nope, nope. Okay,
yeah,
so yeah,
exactly.
you got
Yep,
micro sleep, but
I
not
did.
real
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah. So I was pretty exhausted, and it kept me from getting the rest that I needed to get for myself to be able to recover. So it took me, a little bit longer to get over it. Thankfully, it wasn't a real bad bout of COVID. Um, like
Yeah,
Mizpah
like
said, it just felt like a
no,
really nasty cold.
which is
Um,
good.
yeah, yeah. So I was really thankful for that.
And you work too. You're a working mother. Talk
I
about
am.
talk about that. How is that?
That is hard too. It's um, I'm learning being a mom, you have many, many hats. Sometimes you get those hats mixed up. So, but I do work full time. Um, I'm fortunate enough to be able to telework 3 days a week. So I'm able to keep Sammy at home with me
Yeah, that's great.
those 3 days. Yep. And we just need a babysitter for the 2 days I have to go into the office.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So it is hard though. Like even the days going into the office, like it's kind of nice getting that break because I get that adult interaction. Um, but then as soon as I leave there, I'm like, okay, got to put the mom hat back on and go get the baby. There's no like chill out, cool down time or anything like that.
Yeah, when you're at work, do you get to I don't know, like relax? Do you get to take the mom hat off? Does it get to come off even when you're at work? Because you say you wear different hats, but does the mom hat ever really get to come off, or is it just you put other hats on over top of it?
Yeah, I don't think it ever comes off. I think you're right. I just stack multiple on top of it. So, because even while I'm at work, the babysitter will, send me updates and little pictures. Hey, this is what we're doing now. And I love that. I mean, that
Yeah,
gives me reassurance that she's okay and she's having a good time. Um, so, yeah, the mom hat doesn't ever come off.
yeah. That's kind of what I figured. You said different hats, and I was like, yeah, but that mom hat don't come off.
No.
Yeah. Let's talk about like with you and Mizpah. Now we've talked about how you guys get to, we've heard from Mizpah how you guys get to lean on each other and how she likes you for one thing and then likes him for something different, or
Mhm.
how she's starting to learn, where each of your weaknesses are.
Mhm.
I personally think that she's going to find far more weaknesses in Mizpah, in Daddy, than she's going to find in Mommy, I think.
Um,
That's just my personal opinion. I mean, not that you're not going to, spoil her and love her and care for her like that, but I think she's going to have an easier time with Daddy than with Mommy. So I think by default, she's just going to naturally manipulate him.
well, have a feeling I have a feeling it's gonna be she goes to daddy and asks, "Hey, daddy, can I go do this?" It'll be, "Well, what'd your mom say?" So
Yeah, yeah, but see, it's when she starts saying, "Oh, Mom said to ask you," or "Mom said
yeah,
yes." You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's or she says, "Well, it depends on what you say," because
yeah,
eventually you're probably going to just say that. Well, it depends. Let your dad decide. I'm done deciding. Your
I
dad
will.
can
Yeah.
decide. And then as soon as she hears that, she's going to just start going to him. Yes, she said for you to pick. It's okay with her. It's okay with her if it's okay with you.
Yep.
So yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I think you're going to see that. Not that you guys aren't going to get savvy to it pretty quick,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think she's going to definitely attempt it a couple of times
Oh
before
yeah.
you shut her down.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I have a feeling if mom and dad say no, she'll just make a phone call to her Mimi or her Aunt Brandy or one of them. And yeah, so that'll be
Well,
fun to deal with too.
yeah, well, she won't call Uncle John because Uncle John's answer will be like, "No, I'm not even, no, not yet." Out there, the breeze is taking a picture of her mug, or
Yes, I am.
taking a sip out of her mug.
Yep.
So we got to highlight that. That's excellent. Visit the storefront, bonfire.com/store/the boiling point podcast and pick yourself up a mug. Not the breezes. She has a custom one. It is one of one.
That's right.
That design is not available, but we do have mugs that have, we have a couple different designs for our mugs. So check them out. Let's see. Where else do we want to go? Let's go all the way back here. We were talking off camera before we started about how I think one of our best episodes, not best episodes, but most intriguing episodes. I think one that people will find most interesting and get, more hooked on the series if they see this episode was one where Mizpah was running around. He did it from his car and he was running around looking for formula because the particular place that you guys did buy it didn't sell it. And that was during the whole COVID thing. Yep. Now this episode's taken off YouTube too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're still watching on YouTube, quick, go watch it to Rumble because this episode's likely going to be removed any second. But we got to talk to him about that, about having to run out and stuff. We know it worked out. He found formula. You guys never were really, in danger of actually running out.
No.
But at the time, it was, it was stressful. There was drama. It was, it's intriguing to think that could be happening. So how were you handling that? How did you take that? Were you confident that Mizpah was going to find it wherever it was?
I was freaking out. I was, because the hospital wouldn't send any home with us either. So really what we did, and maybe they'll slap my fingers, I don't care, but we ended up kind of hoarding and hiding the formula they were giving us so that we had something to go home with. Because we knew it was just impossible to find. We had people looking while we were still in the hospital. We hadn't even been sent home yet with Sam. And we were texting our chain of people, hey, can you go look for this formula? Can you find it anywhere online? Does Sam's Club have it? Anybody?
Yeah, I remember Mizpah asked me to do it, or if there was any places other than the Giant that I could go check out, but there was nothing that I was going to be able to, know where I can
To get to. Yeah.
walking distance of me.
Right.
But yeah, I remember. I mean, you guys were reaching out to everybody to try and find it.
Yep. And God love him. He drove and drove until he found it. He didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, he said he had driven or one or at least two times. I think Mizpah is off screen. He's off screen, right? Was it
Yes.
two times Mizpah? You had to drive like 2 or 2.5 hours till you actually found it.
No, it was more like 4 times.
He said it was more like 4 times.
More like 4 times. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah. I thought it was. I knew it was at least more than once that he had said that. So
I had plotted out a route that allowed me to.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, that's right. I remember.
Yep.
Yeah, Mizpah just said that because he talked about how he had plotted out like a course after doing the first one so that he could maximize hitting as many spots as he could.
Right.
Yeah, and I remember that from the episode. Go check out that episode if you haven't seen it. Go check it out. It's a great one. And I think this one is going to be just as good. You coming on camera is going to be just as good of an episode, I think. And people are going to be all over me for you to come on more often. So you just not only is it great and good for the show that you've just come on, but you're going to have a public now. Sorry,
oh, boy.
And they're gonna want you to come back on. I guarantee it. Especially as much as I'm going to hype this episode. Everybody who follows us is going to know you're coming on. So she's starting to develop a personality. Let's come back to the present.
Mm-hmm.
She's 15 months now. She's definitely starting to get her own sort of little personality and stuff.
Yeah.
She's definitely she definitely loves, not just loves you, but she likes to you and Mizpah to be holding her. She's not so much about. I mean, I don't know how it is with family. At least when you bring her over here, she seems to want you guys and doesn't want to go to anybody else.
And that's partially because I haven't had her around as often. I need to start bringing her around more. Because like she will go to Nick's mom right away,
Well,
and my
Grammy.
sister. Yeah. So
immediate family, she does want to go to them and stuff. So it's not just she's always clinging to you. Okay, so it's just
No.
Uncle John she doesn't like. It's fine.
No.
No,
No.
I understand. It'll just be temporary. It's just
Right.
going through a phase.
Yep.
As soon as she figures out how to take rides for real, then she's going to, then she won't leave me alone.
Right. Right. And she was perfectly content just like chatting with you guys and
Yeah. She loves interacting.
with her, and yeah.
Yeah, she very much likes the interaction. I think the one time, didn't she start crying or something? The one time we all got quiet or we were taking a break or something, and she started having a cow.
Yeah, because it was too quiet.
Yeah, she didn't like that. She
No.
was starting to scream, "Where is everybody?"
Yep.
I mean, because we can get loud in our D&D sessions.
Yep. And it doesn't freak her out at all. Like she's so intrigued by it. She's like looks at everybody like, oh wow, what's going on now? Like she tries to understand why everybody's getting so excited. And yeah.
Yeah, that's good. At least it's I think that's good, because then she's not just watching TV or getting, seeing people get excited by TV. She's seeing people get excited by their own interactions.
Right.
And if she's anything like my nephew, once she falls asleep, that's it. You could probably light off a bomb. I mean, for me, I need to have the TV on. The minute I turn the TV off, even if he's in his bedroom, as soon as the TV's off, he's awake.
Oh wow.
Not like wide awake, but he's awake enough that he needs to use the potty, and then it's a whole deal to get him back to sleep. Like, it never fails. TV's off, 5 minutes later, he's up.
Oh wow. See, with Sammy, I didn't want to use the TV. So I started playing music on my phone, and we'd keep it, dark in the room, just a nice soft night light. And I'd have just some lullabies playing, and they'd be, real low, turned down real low. And so that's what she's used to now. So when we go to bed and I rock her, I put music on my phone. We have her nightlight on. She also has like a noise machine in her room that does like white noise and waves and stuff like that. So I always have that running for her too, because she does like a little bit of that background noise, but it doesn't have to be TV, thankfully.
Yeah. I mean, and really in today's world, isn't it better to have your kid be able to sleep with noise?
Yeah.
I mean, think about where is it ever completely quiet that you're going to get to sleep? More often than not, there's going to be something going on, some kind of noise or something happening.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if it's just like your house settling noises, stuff like that even.
Yeah.
So,
And like, I mean, I remember, when I used to, back when I was a teenager, the place we lived had a coal stove, and when it was on, it would put me right to sleep. But if I was drifting off to sleep or something before it came on and then it kicked on, man, it would wake me right up. So yeah, like you said, the white noise is always good to have, because it drowns out some of the other noise that might startle her back awake that she's not used to hearing. Like you said, settling at the house, because house noises and stuff are never necessarily the same. I mean, every house has its noises and its stuff, but sometimes there's always rogue noises, and that can wake a baby up too. So, I mean, it wakes me up sometimes.
Yeah.
So not just a baby, it wakes me up sometimes.
And I know even for myself, like I can't fall asleep in a room that's completely silent. Like I just lay there and I stare at the ceiling. So I at least need to have a fan going to have the same concept, that like white noise sound going.
I use my space heater. I turn the furnace down and then turn the space heater on. And then in the wintertime, of course, in the summertime, I use a fan.
Yes.
But I don't use a fan in the wintertime. I get too cold sometimes. When I get cold, there's going to be a noise. Yep. Sorry, everybody. It's a ranger returning from the Night's Watch. Sorry about that. That is my phone that just made it onto I think its first episode. I don't remember if I usually turn it down. I forgot this time. But anyway, moving past that, what were we saying? Oh, about the noises. Yeah. I think it's good to help.
Yeah.
To help sleep. I mean, not like we said, not just the baby, but it helps me, that kind of white noise, as you said.
Yep. Yep. And in fact, I've kind of gotten Mizpah hooked on it too. Like if there's a night we crawl into bed and we forget to turn the fan on, he's like, what's wrong? Something's different. He's like, crap, we didn't put the fan on. So
I have a white, for times I can't have the fan on or don't have the heater on, I have a white noise app on my phone to give me something. You know what I mean? It's a really good one. It's a free one. I don't recall what it is, or I'd give it a shout out. But it's a good one. Most of the sounds that, or at least the white noise sounds, a lot of them are like digital sounds. You can tell that they were generated, but there are a couple of good ones that I enjoy on there. And I mean, I like for example, I like crackling fires. That'll help me sleep.
Okay.
Or the sound of rain, like in a rainstorm, that helps me sleep.
Yep.
And then, of course, like you said, the white noise sounds like a fan being on or a heater being on or something, or a vacuum cleaner, a mower. If someone's mowing the grass in the summertime, you know, that will put me into a coma sleep. Even if I'm already asleep, I will hear the lawnmower in my sleep and then go into coma sleep.
It turns into the best nap of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we around this neighborhood, you know, we get them all times a day. So sometimes it's happening in the morning, like at 8:30, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I hear it and I'm like, and then I'm gone and I don't even hear them stop. I'm just gone for like 3 extra hours.
Nice.
So yeah, like I mean, it's hard to ever get it quiet, even like with just in the summertime with mowing, you know, or even in the wintertime, you know, plows driving by and trucks driving by, it can still get loud. So
yeah. And we have woods that butt up to the back of our house. So even just all the, you know, critters at night that are out, you know, all the crickets and owls and all that, that's constant noise, you know, so it's soothing noise, but it's constant. So
yeah. I remember going camping. I always had trouble with the bullfrogs.
Yeah.
For many, many years, I had trouble when we were camping with the bullfrogs. They would always keep me awake. And then I reached the point where I finally, you know, after so many years, I finally got used to them and then was able to just, because I'll tell you, got news for you. When you're camping, there is no white noise. I don't care how many cell phones you got, at least not for me. We would be in tents, campfires, and, you know, we had electricity and stuff, but I was never one to like take my phone camping and have it be a part of camping. It was turned off in the car for the next 3 days. I did not need it.
No, emergency purposes only. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We need an ambulance. Okay, it's in the car. Let's get it. You chopped your leg off. Okay, well, let's pick up your leg and let's call 911. It's in the car. We're camping. It's not on me. So yeah, I think that's real good. So what else? What else do you think anything else that you would want to talk about? Sorry, I don't know if I can come up with anything else. I think we pretty much talked about most of the stuff that.
Yeah, I think we covered about everything.
Well, let's talk. Actually, I just thought about something that I did want to ask you. So we'll do one more and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. So, I mean, she's starting to get her own personality and stuff now. Are you starting to get that mommy daughter bond a little bit? Has that started to surface at all or anything like that?
Oh yeah. I think that started probably a few months ago, even. So that's been great because she'll, you know, just every time I see her, you know, she just gives me this big smile and especially in the mornings, like she's always been a pretty happy baby in the mornings, typically when she wakes up on her own.
That's definitely from your side.
Yeah. So, you know, I'll walk into her room.
Yeah, Mizpah's not a morning person. I mean, you need to IV 3 cups of coffee into his veins to even get him to stir.
Well, and let me clarify, her morning, quote unquote, is usually around 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, she's a sleeper. She definitely gets that from her dad.
Yeah, that she definitely gets from her dad. So she gets to sleep from her. Wow, you guys lucked out. She got the sleep from her dad, but got the wake up from her mom. That's you guys lucked out with that one, because if she would have if she wakes up like her dad, you're in trouble.
I know. Oh, I know.
I don't think I don't know if you want to be, you know, mainlining coffee into your 15-month-old. That's probably not advised.
No.
For Mizpah, it's necessary.
It is, and it's bad enough I have to wake up one bear. I don't want two to have to wake up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know. Yeah, I mean, I know you're part. You get him going in the morning. You're the one that hooks the IV into him in the morning. I know. Someone has to. He's not getting up to IV himself. Someone's got to hook him up to IV to get him even to open his eyes.
That's right.
Yeah, I've tried. The only way to do it is to tell him the house is on fire. That's it. That'll get him up. Or threaten that his car is going to be pushed out into the road. That might get him moving.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I don't think I have anything else that we wanted to bring up, and I'm trying to remember all the people who wanted to comment, who commented about you and wanted to see you on an episode, because some of them had asked specific things, but I think we pretty much covered all of that stuff too. So I don't think I got anything else on my agenda.
The only thing Mizpah just said, he said about talking about like hormone changes after being a mom.
Yeah, please. Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about that.
That is awful. Awful. So
I thought it was going to be a day at the beach.
Yeah, so when we got home from the hospital, the day we got home, we literally within minutes, got Sammy unloaded, brought my bags in and everything. And I had to have a cesarean section with Sam. So I wasn't able to lift a whole lot of stuff. I was able to hold her, obviously, but I had to be very mindful of bending over, picking things up.
As you can see, I just shifted in my seat. It makes me uncomfortable just talking about a cesarean. So, but you were talking about, I mean, how after you got home.
Yes. I mean, it just kind of reality hit me, I think. And I just got so like overwhelmed, I think, because I had all these different emotions flooding through me. Like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this? And is she going to be okay? And because she's so small, what if I don't hear her get up in the middle of the night, or, just everything I'm sure a new mom thinks of.
Yeah. Actually, let's hold on that for that just a second, because I know we talked about it in an episode with Mizpah, how the whole time you were pregnant, he was kind of wondering that. And I have no doubt that was likely on your mind while you were pregnant. I mean, you're carrying the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think, I mean, it's one thing when you're carrying it and I mean, of course, it's a reality, but then after birth, that has to be such a traumatic experience that it's got to be like a whole new realization afterward.
Yeah.
Do you think, is that what it was?
I think so. And honestly too, I remember like feeling my stomach and like realizing I'm never going to feel her kick again. And it kind of like, it's heartbreaking, even though, she's here and you have, the rest of your life to spend with her, but I won't get that feeling anymore. That was just between me and her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, not exactly.
Not
no,
exactly, but yeah.
not exactly. No.
Yeah.
No, I have not been lucky enough to be a mother.
No.
No, of course I can't be a mother. That's ridiculous. Yeah, no. But so I don't know. No, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I can only imagine how that is. And, I know that other women experience that too. Yeah. And that's something that's pretty common.
Yeah. And I just broke down crying, and I didn't know why I was crying.
Yeah.
And I remember I walked outside and I called my sister up, and she had texted me, hey, are you home? And are you home yet from the hospital? And so I called her and I'm sobbing. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I'm crying. I should be so happy. And she's like, this is all normal. This is completely normal. And she's like, do you want me to come over? I'm like, yes. So she came over. Nick's mom was here. So, we had a wonderful support system. We really did. So
that's great. So it was, I mean, let's talk about I think it was Mizpah just mentioned about the chemicals and stuff. I mean, you were getting you got stuff while you were giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And did you get stuff that were they giving you? I assume they were giving you more stuff after birth.
They gave me, so I got pain medication initially after the cesarean section. But then after that wore off, I was just doing Tylenol and ibuprofen, and that was just by my choice.
Yeah.
Because I was fortunate enough that the pain didn't affect me too much with the actual, incision and stuff. So, and Ms. Paul even said at one point, the nurse came in and she said, "Well, do you need any pain medication?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm okay with just, the Tylenol and ibuprofen schedule you guys have me on." And she looked over at Mizpah, and Mizpah just shrugged his shoulders like, "Hey, this is on her. Whatever
Yeah.
she wants to do."
I'm not gonna. What do you have? Yeah, I mean, she just gave birth, but I'm not having to rip my head off. She just chose. I'm not getting in that. What are you, crazy? I'm not suicidal. I just had a daughter.
Right. Yep. And I think another reason I was stressing out too when we got home was, with Sam being born 3 weeks early, I was and kind of counting on that extra 3 weeks to finish things up. So there was like minor details in her nursery that I wanted to get done that I didn't get done.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I was freaking out about that.
The mom stuff and the dad's like, "We'll get to it."
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
time.
Yeah, she has a crib. She has a changing table. She has diapers. Like she has all the necessities here.
Yep.
So
all of the elephants and tigers don't have to be on the wall immediately.
Exactly. Exactly.
But about the I mean, you said you got off the any drugs or anything pretty early after that.
Mhm.
But what about, I mean, the natural changes that your body went through to give birth? Was that, talk about that? What kind of a, what kind of a strain was that? I mean, I would imagine that had to do with, why you were emotional after you got home and stuff. I mean, you have, I don't know, but from what I understand, your body, to give birth, your body's going through like a huge change to give birth, to prepare to give birth and stuff. And then you had a cesarean section. You had her 3 weeks early, and then they try and induce you too.
They did. Yeah. They started to
induce
me.
Yeah, you had a lot of stuff at the beginning of it. So I can only imagine that with the rapidness of way your body had to prepare for this.
Right.
Like you said, 3 weeks early, not only were you planning those 3 weeks to get a couple extra things done, your body was likely going to use those 3 weeks to get ready to go as well.
Yes. Yeah. I think had she been born full term, I very well may have been able to do a natural birth. But because she was a little early, my body was like, "No, like I'm not doing this yet." Like they had me on heavy doses of Pitocin to try to get me to dilate, and I never made it past 1.5 centimeters.
Yeah.
So
yep.
in 2 days time.
That's the other, I think that's the other front runner episode, is when we talked about the episode that Ms. Pa and I talked about everything that you went through, to give birth. I think that's another excellent episode, as you just explained there. I mean, it's quite a story. I mean, you had quite an ordeal. To give birth to Sammy. It wasn't just a normal, natural thing. I mean, there was a lot of different things happening all at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. All very quickly, and it was all just kind of, my head was spinning, and I was just like, okay, I just have to roll with this, and listen to what the doctors and nurses are trying to explain to me and suggest, and and we had a really great team at the hospital. The doctors and nurses were fantastic. So I'm so thankful that we had that, because I would have been lost without that guidance too. So
the Breeze is obviously very gracious. I believe, if memory serves, Ms. Paul had a couple of different things to say about the team. Not that they all didn't do a great job to bring Sammy into the world. Nobody's saying that. Go watch Ms. Paul's episode where he talks about that, and you'll understand. The Breeze just presents it in a nicer way to everybody.
I do. I tend to sugarcoat things a little bit more.
Yeah, Ms. Pa's like, this doc. No, of course he didn't say that.
But I think the other thing that was so stressful on me too was my plan was to try to breastfeed with Sammy. And I think due to another factor, again, of her being born a little early, my body just didn't produce any milk. So like it was just.
And that's just another stressful thing too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
not just because then you're already worrying about formula immediately,
Right.
as
Right.
opposed to just having your own milk on supply.
Right.
But the baby gets. I do know this. I do know some things. Everybody, the baby gets a lot of your natural stuff through the breast milk. That's what keeps
Yes.
her safe. That's what gives her like her natural immunizations for like the first 6 or 12 months until I don't know exactly when they get vaccinated. I only know some things, everybody, not everything. But I know that your breast milk protects them up until when they start getting their first round of vaccinations and stuff.
Yes.
Assuming
Yes.
you've been vaccinated yourself.
Right. Right.
So that must have been just another factor, just one more frustrating thing, and just one more thing to worry about on top of that. I mean, not just the
Right.
frustration of not being able to breastfeed, but then the worry of getting formula now, and she's not going to get the
Right.
natural
Right.
protection from the breast milk. Like, yeah, I imagine that all of that had to be crazy to deal with. So
It was, and I was pumping still regularly to try to get whatever little bit I could for her so that, anything I did get out, I was giving straight to her so that she at
yeah,
least got something,
yeah.
from me. So, and I do think that made at least a little bit of a difference. I like to think so anyway.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, hey, I mean, you'd imagine at least, I mean, it's anything is better than nothing in
yeah,
that regard, is the way I would think about it. Which is exactly what I'm sure Mizpah told you. I'm sure
it
he's the
is.
exact same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, anything is better than nothing. So, yeah, that was, I mean, I don't know how women go through that and then stay sane. I mean, in my opinion, you should be psychotic. Not that it's not warranted, but that's the change that women go through to give birth, and all just the natural hormones, not to
Yeah.
forget whatever they might be giving you, just the natural process going through
Yeah.
childbirth. It's got to be
It's a roller
enough.
coaster. It's really is. It's a lot of ups and downs, and like it was
And
crazy for a few months. Yeah.
yeah, and very extreme, I would imagine, in the
Yeah.
early days, weeks, or months. It would be very sharp ups and downs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And now has it's leveled out a little bit more now.
Oh yeah, I'm completely back to normal now.
Good.
Yeah. Now whatever
Well, as normal
insanity
as you
that's
can.
there was there before Sammy anyway.
Yeah. As long as long as you can consider marrying Mizpah normal, yes. Then
Yeah, he tells me that all the time. So
well, he knows. He knows. He's very self-aware. All right, so I think that's where we're going to wrap this one up. This was a good long episode, longer than we usually make them, but that's okay because the Breeze is, entitled to longer episodes, especially since she doesn't make regular appearances. For all of her fans and future fans, I will try and get her to come on these again or more often. We'll see. You can see it took 4 years. Let's see. We're at a total of. I think we're at like almost 50 months into the Boiling Point podcast, and we finally got her on. Let's hope we don't have to wait another 50 months to have her on again. I mean, it's not even just 50 episodes. We're talking about 50 months before we had her on. So like I said, hopefully it won't be another 50 months till we have her on again. But it's at her discretion, of course. And she's busy. She's got Sammy. If you think Mizpah does a bunch of stuff, you don't know him very well. No, of course, that's not true. Of course, he does plenty. We have to reschedule 4 and 5 times to be able to get these episodes in sometimes. So
yeah.
yeah, that's the way it is. But all right, so this is a great episode. Please share it out. Leave us a comment. If you leave, if that's the other way to get the Breeze on. That's how I can do it. Leave us a comment for the Breeze, and then we can talk her into coming back on to answer some of your questions. So if you want to see the Breeze on another episode, leave a comment in this episode, whether you're just watching it on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Rumble. Likely it's not on YouTube for very long because we mentioned the bad word.
Yep.
So, but we're on Rumble. It's likely still on Facebook as well. So check us out. Leave us a comment. I will definitely have her back on, or push harder to have her back on if we get some questions for her. So leave some questions if you want to see her come back, and then we can ask her those questions and get another update from her. But the next episode, part 20, we'll be back to Mizpah. And we will be talking about, or at least one of the parts we'll be talking about, is how we are 20 episodes into it, and where we're at, and like a recap on where we've been, in addition to what else we're going to talk about. We do that every so often with the series because I think it's important to reflect, being that this series is about Sammy, his daughter, and your guys' daughter. I think it's important to stop and look back and say, hey, look, we're 20 episodes in. Look at everything. You can actually look back at, and not get the day to day of what you guys have gone through,
Right.
but at least some of the events. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to stop and say, hey, look back, look at everything. Look
We've
at how
been
far
through.
you are
Yeah.
already. Yeah. And and also to remind you, to keep reminding everybody, that she's not little forever.
Right.
We're 15 months in at this point now. We just started. It seems like, just last week we were doing episode 1.
I know.
You had just brought her home a couple of 2 weeks ago. I think we started shooting 2 weeks after you brought her home or something.
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it's important. So that's what's going to be on episode 20, or at least a segment of it. And we'll likely have other stuff as well, because we have a couple of episodes where we have planned that we're going to be talking about some stuff. So stay tuned, share it out, leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. Mizpah is off camera. He is the executive producer for the Boiling Point podcast. And this is, of course, his series, And the Breezes, who is also an on and off again producer for the Boiling Point podcast when her schedule allows. When Sammy, let's be honest, when Sammy allows,
Yeah.
when she's having a good sleep through the night or a good nap, then we get the breeze to participate once in a while. But this is a great episode for the breeze. Mizpah is the one off camera on this one, and I'm your host, JD. That's the end.
Good night.